The trusty squire provided needments meet, as for their journey fitting most should be. Meanwhile her vesture, pendant to her feet, Erminia doffed, as erst determined she. Stripped to her petticoat, the virgin sweet so slender was, that wonder was to see. Her handmaid ready at her mistress's will, to arm her helped, though simple were her skill. The rugged steel oppressed and offended her dainty neck, and locks of shining gold. Her tender arm so feeble was, it bended when that huge target it presumed to hold. The burnished steel bright rays far off extended. She feigned courage, and appeared bold. Fast by her side unseen smiled Venus' son, as erst he laughed when Alcides spun. Oh, with what labour did her shoulders bear that heavy burden, and how slow she went, her maid, to see that all the coasts were clear, before her mistress through the streets was sent. Love gave her courage, love exiled fear. Love to her tired limbs new vigour lent, till she approached where the squire abode. There took they horse forthwith, and forward rode. Disguised they went, and by unused ways and secret paths they strove unseen to gone, until the watch they meet, which sore affrays their soldiers knew, when swords and weapons shone. Yet none to stop their journey once assays, but place and passage yielded every one. For that bright armour, and that helmet bright, were known and feared in the darkest night. Erminia, though some deal she were dismayed, yet went she on, and goodly countenance bore. She doubted lest her purpose were bewrayed, her too much boldness she repented sore. But now the gate her fear and passage stayed, the heedless porter she beguiled therefore. I am Clorinda, ope the gate, she cried, where as the king commands, this late I ride. Her woman's voice and terms all framed ben, most like the speeches of the princess stout, who would have thought on horseback to have seen that feeble damsel armed round about. The porter her obeyed, and she between her trusty squire and maiden sallied out, and through the secret dales they silent pass, where danger least fear, least peril was. But when these fair adventurers entered were deep in a vale, Erminia stayed her haste. To be recalled she had no cause to fear. This foremost hazard had she trimly passed. But dangers new, tofore unseen, appear. New perils she descried, new doubts she cast. The way that her desire to quiet brought, more difficult now seemed than ere she thought. Armed to ride among her angry foes, she now perceived it were great oversight. Yet would she not, she thought, herself disclose, until she came before her chosen knight. To him she purposed to present the rose, pure, spotless, clean, untouched of mortal white. She stayed therefore, and in her thoughts more wise, she called her squire, whom thus she gan advise. Thou must, quoth she, be mine ambassador, be wise, be careful, true, and diligent. Go to the camp, present thyself before the Prince Tancredi, wounded in his tent. Tell him thy mistress comes to cure his sore, if he to grant her peace and rest consent, 'gainst whom fierce love such cruel war hath raised. So shall his wounds be cured, her torments eased. And say, in him such hope and trust she hath, that in his power she fears no shame nor scorn. Tell him thus much, and whatsoe'er he saith, unfold no more, but make a quick return. I, for this place is free from harm and scathe, within this valley will meanwhile sojourn. Thus spake the princess, and her servant true to execute the charge imposed flew. and was received, he so discreetly wrought, first of the watch that guarded in their place, before the wounded prince then was he brought, who heard his message kind with gentle grace, which told, he left him tossing in his thought 1,000 doubts, and turned his speedy pace to bring his lady and his mistress word, she might be welcome to that courteous lord. But she, impatient, to whose desire grievous and harmful seemed each little stay, recounts his steps and thinks, now draws he nigher, now enters in, now speaks, now comes his way. In that which grieved her most, the careful squire less speedy seemed than e'er before that day. Lastly she forward rode with love to guide, until the Christian tents at hand she spied.